Have you ever wanted to color on your iPad using your Apple Pencil? I'm going to show you how to color in Procreate, and I'm going to show you a few tricks in Procreate that I think are necessary to understand and learn in order to have a good time coloring in Procreate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through on Procreate how to color this unicorn. And this is a unicorn that I did in a previous video. So that was actually my first video. And I'm going to show you how to do a couple little tricks in Procreate to color. There's a lot of coloring books out there for the iPad, and coloring on the iPad, it can be really fun. You got this expensive Apple Pencil, you might as well use it and have a good time with it, right? And I think coloring on the iPad in Procreate is probably the best way to do it, but it takes a little extra step. And that extra step is what I did in the first video, where I traced the picture and created a coloring page. So now, as I say in YouTube, let's get into it. So there are a handful of ways to color in Procreate, and these are the reasons why I like coloring in Procreate. The first one is just coloring straight on the page. So you do that by choosing a color. Let's go with pink. Choosing a brush. I'm going to go with a sketching 6B pencil, which now turns this into a coloring pencil. And then I am going to choose a layer underneath. So I just create a new layer. I'm going to drop that down here. And then I'm going to just, for demonstration purposes, show you how this works. So when I'm coloring on here, it's coloring underneath the black line that I created for myself. And then it's nice because I can come through and I can erase, whatever lines I don't want in there. Yeah, and I can just color through the whole thing this way. Okay, and I like it because the color pencil brush gives you more of a realistic texture. And if you want to keep that texture, you can go through it that way. Another way, I'll clear that out. I can keep it on the same one. All right, another way is to use the selection tool. And the way you use the selection tool is you just simply go through and, I have it on, there's 4 different options for selection tool. And I had it on automatic, which means that it's gonna pick all of the same pixel colors. So since I tapped right there, it picked all the white pixels. But I'm going to go to freehand, where I can just simply freehand through this star right here. And then the nice thing is once I complete that whole circuit, I can just drop the color right into the star. Okay, I'm not going to do a pink star, but I just did that because it was an easy demonstration. All right, I can do that one more time. Select, hit this little, hit this circle right here, or dot, to complete that little circuit, and then you can just drag your colors right in there. So those are different. Those are easy ways to color. You can color by freehand, or you can do selection tool and go through the whole thing and select your shapes, and then bring your colors right in there. Another way is to simply drag your colors right into the shape that's already created. Now, the reason that it just bled all the way through the whole page was because I had it on the layer underneath, and that's what it thinks it looks like. I'll take the color out real quick. Let's see here. So when I went on just this layer right here, there's nothing for it to fill into, right? The layer on top is where it fills into. So you can't just drag it right on there. You have to go to the top layer, and then if I go here, since this heart is already closed in a shape, I can drag the color right into that shape. Now, there's a drawback to doing it this way. If I want to change the color in there, let's say I want to erase that out, so I can get the eraser, I can come in here and I can erase all of that out. But as I go, I'm gonna also erase the black line, which obviously is there to color inside of, just like you would on a coloring page. So you're kind of defeating the purpose if you're going to use the same layer to drag things on. So let me show you how to actually mitigate that problem. So I'm going to undo that color drop, and then what I'm going to do, and I'm going to clear this out actually. So clear. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the reference option. So if I go here to layer 1 and I tap on it once and bring this menu right here, then I'm going to choose the reference option. And that means anything on the layer underneath that I have reference to the top will now drag right into there. Very cool thing, very cool way to do it. So I'm going to go through real quick. I'm going to put this in fast forward. I'm going to drag all the colors in, and I'm going to show you why this is a really cool option to do. Now, before I go into fast forward mode in dragging all the colors into all these shapes, I forgot one thing that I want to show you. So the way I'm going to show you is I already colored this out on another canvas, and this is a new canvas. So I want to bring that in. I actually saved it in my photos. So I'm going to actually reference that. So I'm going to choose reference. Here, let me show you what I just did. I'm going to choose reference. And instead of the reference being, what I'm actually coloring, I'm going to go to image. And I'm going to use this. This is actually the same exact image. It just doesn't have the black lines on it. So I'm going to just use this for my coloring. And it's really cool because what I can do is I can hold my finger on here, and then it will color pick any of those colors for me. So I'm going to color pick the pink. Let's see, I already have the pink. I'm going to color pick the horse body, and then I'm just going to drag that in onto a reference layer here. Okay, and then I can actually hit continue filling right here. Oop, didn't do it. Let's drag into this leg. Continue filling. Now, whatever I touch will just do the same thing. I'll just do it faster. It'll just fill everything in for me. So I'm using my reference right here, or it's just a canvas reference that I already colored, and I'm just gonna fast forward now from here. But I want to show you something that's really cool. So let's find a place where, take this color drop part off. Okay, let's find a place. Let's do these reds right here. This rose color. I'm gonna color drop. See how I hold the finger on there and it chooses whatever color I want. I'm going to choose that exact color right there. And then I'm going to go into this rose right here and I'm going to drag over. Hopefully I can demonstrate this. Okay, so it's doing it all perfectly. I wanted to show you that. All right, I did it on another video. I did this on another video. I'm going to splice that in just to show you how to color drop, because there's a way. So right now, it is perfectly dropping in. Like, it is filling right exactly to these lines. There's no problem. Sometimes it doesn't know exactly where to fill, and I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, and to show you that, I'm going to create a new layer just to demonstrate. I'm going to move the layer at the bottom, and I'm also going to, off camera, I took it off reference. You want to make sure you take it off reference, because it's going to keep referencing everything on this layer if I had it on reference. So I'm going to go to this brand new layer to demonstrate. Let's say I drew just a little star, right? Okay, if I went to drop this in, okay, you can see that not everything, there's still some white, not everything got filled in. So how do you fix that? Well, when you color drop it, you'll notice this little bar, this little blue bar right here. As you drag it across, it fills it better. Let me do a better example of that. So let me go back to black. Let's do, where's a good spot to do this in? Right here, I'll just do a circle. It'll work on with the pink. Same principle. So let's say I wanted to fill this shape in with a color. I'll just pick a random color, green, so you can see it. If I go to fill it in right there, I did it perfect. Let's see here. No, that's not. I want you to see this because, okay, so it went out of the edges, okay? But there's a blue bar right here. If I go backwards, the threshold's at 22%. If I go backwards, see how it realizes, oh, you just want it in this little shape right here. If I go forward, it'll do like the whole screen. If I go backwards, it'll just fill in there. And then you can look really closely and you can see exactly what pixels are going to fill in there. I'm going to leave it on 6%, and then I just filled my shape in. Okay, so that's a really cool way, a really good thing to know when you are using the color dropper. All right, so I'm going to discontinue or delete this layer right here. Oh, when I'm on camera, I kind of forget things. I'm going to delete this. Just like that. So the last thing that I'm going to do is you're going to watch me color fill the rest of the drawing, and it's just going to be in fast forward, but we're going to go to this point right here. We're going to take it to this point, and then basically we're going to be done. I'm going to show you one or two final touches, but this is basically it. Okay, now while we're just in the fast forward mode, I just want to tell you a reason, the actual reason why I'm making this video in the first place. So coloring pages are not my favorite thing to do. They are fun to do, but I like to draw more than I like to color. But coloring pages have offered such an amazing time in my art class that I teach at my local school. There's a lot of kids that I get in my school and a lot of kids that I get in my class who don't necessarily want to draw or learn how to draw, but they need something else. They need something that's going to be a little bit more beneficial to them. And my philosophy as an art teacher is to discover what it is that is interesting, or discover whatever it is that my student wants to do, and then expand on that. Find a way to make it possible for them to get better at that. So I make coloring pages, and I have a ton of coloring pages that I have either drawn or that they draw themselves. So it's a really good way to keep engagement in my classroom. But this is just a very simple example of a basic coloring page. So I want to show you just a couple cool things that you can do with the way that I showed you how to use that reference layer and then put colors underneath it. So I'm going to take away the black lines. That way you can see there are all of the color shapes that I dropped into this unicorn coloring page, and I can do a couple things with that. So I created a blank layer here. It's just called layer 9. I'm going to play with some different colors. So I'm going to get the color dropper tool. I'm going to choose the pink that I chose for the hair, and then I'm just going to get a little bit of a more radical dark color to demonstrate what I can do here. So I can drop colors into these shapes nice and quick, and however I want. I can get the hair in different ways that I want to. Let's get a really light version of this color and put them in here. See, now I can just play with it. Let's get like a light. I'll put that somewhere. Anyway, you get the idea. I can drop, now that I have those colors isolated, I can drop any color I want in there. And I love it that way. I think it's pretty cool. Let's do one more thing to the rose. Let's make them a little bit darker. And let's just choose a couple spots. Wherever I want these. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of coloring in general, but I gotta tell you that I see the therapeutic value in this. Let's go lighter. Okay, let's drop that in a couple places. And you see, again, it didn't fill that whole place in, so let's try that again. Slide it over and it will get pretty much all of it. And I can always go to my black layer and see if it's all covered, and it is. So whatever mistakes are in that color are covered by my ink layer anyway. So this takes practice. You're not just gonna be able to go straight to Procreate and just get this right off the bat. You might have to watch this video a few times. If you guys have questions, please leave questions in the comments below. I'm brand new, and I promise I have time to look at comments and answer questions. And I would love you to do that. I'm gonna choose a different pink. I think a different pink should be in here. Various places, and I think a white petal should be in here too somewhere. Like just a almost white, like that. Just make the colors different. Play around with it, obviously, you know. Create your own petals and create your own world in Procreate. So let's go ahead and put the black on there. Okay guys, and then one last thing, I added a bloom effect to these stars and the moon. I'm not going to take time to show you how to do that. If you want to know, please leave a comment in the section below. But you know, I added bloom effects to the moon, bloom effects to the stars. Kind of a cool little thing that you can do with Procreate. But I think that we have covered enough bases with how to color on this. So thank you very much, and I will see you at the next video.